Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Atari ST A to Z, a series of short playthroughs of Atari ST games, some of which I grew up with and some of which are new to me. Today is one of the former. Today's game is Tournament Golf. This was a Atari ST port of a Mega Drive game by Sega called Arnold Palmer Tournament Golf, or in Japan it was known as Ozaki Naomichi Supermasters. In either of those versions, the respective title star didn't actually appear anywhere in the game aside from on the title screen and I think the ending to the tournament. And so when it was released on home computers, courtesy of Elite, the sort of licensed aspect of it was stripped out, presumably to save on cost, which is absolutely fine, I guess. The original Mega Drive game, interesting bit of trivia about this, in the original Mega Drive game, if you took 100 shots on the first on the first hole of any course, and then put in a secret code, you could play a level from Fantasy Zone. I don't believe that's incorporated into the home computer versions, which is a bit of a shame. But if you do happen to track down the Mega Drive version of this, that is something you can do. So, let's have a look at the box. So here we are, Tournament Golf. It's a fairly nondescript box, to be perfectly honest. When I was a kid, I was immediately attracted to this simply by the fact it said Sega on it. I was very interested in what Sega had to do. I loved Sega's arcade games. Anytime we went to the seaside and went to arcades, I always had to play sort of the latest Sega things like Afterburner, G-Lock, Outrun, that sort of thing. And so having a home computer game with Sega on the side of it was exciting, even if it was a golf game, which I didn't find especially exciting at the time. I like golf games a lot now, but at the time I wasn't quite sure what to make of them. So here's the back of the box. Some nice, fairly representative screenshots of what we can expect from the game. And it says, you've been invited to play on 3 world-class golf courses against 15 international professional players. You've been teamed with a caddy who will offer advice and a full set of clubs made from various materials. It's left to you to select your course, UK, US or Japan, and your experience level, practice, match or tournament play. A host of assistance is available to you, including wind direction information, swing direction and target direction. You have the added help of an overhead course view and an up-to-the-minute display of your results to date. Practice your game, master your weaknesses and improve your strengths, and soon you'll be ready for a place in the final tournament. Looking at a lot of these boxes on this series sort of really makes me realise that we've really gone through a change in how video game packaging is expressed over the years. So like these ones from this era here, they give you a pretty thorough rundown of what you can expect from the game. Whereas today, if you look at the back of a typical box, you tend to get just a few very specific bullet points. And it tends to sort of work on the assumption that you're already familiar with the game through things like marketing and coverage from websites and videos and YouTube and that sort of thing. And because we've got so ready access to the internet these days, that is a reasonable assumption. Whereas back when this was released, pretty much all people had to go on was monthly magazines, if they bothered to pick one of those up, and that blurb on the back of the box. So, let's have a look inside. So inside the box, we've got a manual, which we'll have a look at in just a moment. And then we've got 2 discs for this one. There's one that's got the main program on, and one that's got the courses. We've also got a little addendum here. So this just says, so this is just additional keyboard controls. And loading instructions. Insert program disk and turn on computer when prompted. I don't know why people bothered putting loading instructions in for the Atari ST in particular, because literally all you do for 95% of games on the Atari ST is you put the disk in and turn it on. There's the occasional one where you have to double click on the program on the GEM desktop, but even that's pretty self-explanatory as well. And most people who had an Atari ST would have been familiar with doing that for various purposes. And again, even though the loading instructions are in that addendum, they're in the front page of this manual as well, so I don't know why they're there. Anyway, so the manual gives you actually a fairly comprehensive breakdown of how to play the game. It's also used this copy protection in the original. The version we'll be recording from today, as always, will be an emulated pirate copy, so we won't have to worry about that too much. But this was one of those games where it would be like, turn to page 12 and tell me the 3rd word on line 5 of paragraph 6 or something like that. So it's pretty densely packed with descriptions with that in mind. But the upside of that is it does give you a fairly comprehensive explanation of how to play the game and how it works and everything like that. Now, by modern game standards, this game sort of lacks a fair amount of in-game information, but it does have some helpful information like this table here, which tells you sort of the typical distance you can expect to hit with various types of clubs and so on. So it is very helpful to have this manual by your side while you're playing, whereas most modern golf games will present all that information to you on screen straight away. So what has it got to say? Here it is, the ultimate golf game, and you've been invited to play on 3 world-class courses against 50... Yeah, we've heard all that. Yeah, so they made a really big deal of the caddy in this. And the caddy sort of had 4 different skill levels that kind of ranked up as you progressed through the game, and the caddy would offer you more advice as you went through. It wasn't sort of presented giving you sort of an idea of their personality or anything like that, but it was quite interesting to have a golf game where you were given advice as you play, because that was quite unusual at the time. In earlier golf games like things like Accolades Mean 18 and Leaderboard and that sort of thing, you pretty much have to rely on your own knowledge and intuition. Whereas in this, the further you went, the more helpful advice you would get. So telling you, I think it actually tells you in the manual here what the caddy tells you at the different levels. Yeah, so here we are. So your caddy's advice level will increase in 4 stages. Your caddy will be able to tell you the remaining distance to the hole at stage 1. At stage 2, your caddy will give you the distance to the target point during the tee off. So she'll tell you how far you're likely to hit if you hit it correctly. At stage 3, in addition to information from stage 1 and 2, your caddy will explain the influence of the wind and how to master it. That's quite useful. And at stage 4, in addition to the information from stage 1, 2 and 3, your caddy will explain how to master the strategy of the lie. So again, this is the sort of information we get presented on the user interface of modern golf games. So things like, if you look at something like Everybody's Golf on PlayStation, that gives you that little marker in the corner that says, the lie here will affect your ball's the power of your shot by, I don't know, 70% or something like that. It's basically the same information we're getting there, but it's delivered via a caddy rather than presented as simply part of the information you get on screen. And that's pretty cool. Anyway, enough talking about tournament golf. Let's go play tournament golf.
Okay, here we are with Tournament Golf from Elite, originally by Sega on the Mega Drive, and originally being branded with Arnold Palmer's name, but they stripped that out for the home computer versions for whatever reason. Right, so here we are. So Tournament Golf, game select, start a new game. And we have to enter a word from the manual, but for the sake of convenience, I'm using a pirate copy as usual. So we could just enter poo, and off we go. And put our name in. Pete. 16 golfers received an invitation to play in the World Pro Golf Tour. By winning all 12 rounds, you'll become the new world champion. I won't, because I'm shit at this game, but anyway. So, to begin with, we have this black carbon set of clubs. You can take a certain number with you. So the default layout has taken out the 5 wood and the 2 iron. And our maximum range that we can hit with these black carbon clubs is 230 yards. So, let's begin with that. Now the SG Pro Tournament will start. Proto-tournament. The prizes for the winner are shown. So up to 100,000 for winning. And the winner will be given a new set of clubs. It's exciting, isn't it? Insert course disc and press fire. Again, we don't have to do that because I'm playing a pirate copy where they've squeezed it all onto one disc. And here we go. So, yeah, this was a relatively early golf game. And so a lot of things that you might take for granted in modern golf games aren't here. But at the same time, there is some stuff here that kind of sets it apart from earlier golf games. There's stuff like Leaderboard and Mean 18, which I think I mentioned in the intro. Yeah, you can... For example, you can look at which direction the wind's going. So we can see that it's blowing from right to left here. You can have a look at the lie. You can choose your club, and then there's a nice sort of graphical representation of your club there. So we'll start with the 1 wood. You can set your stance. A little bit difficult to judge this, to determine exactly what effects that's going to have, but yeah, you can adjust your stance. And then you take your shot. So, to take your shot in this, it's pretty similar to most golf games in that it's 3 taps on a button. So the first one sets your power. Sorry, your first one starts the meter. Your second one sets your power with that meter on the left-hand side. And then your third button press determines how high the shot goes. So rather than the accuracy of the shot, as in stuff like leaderboard, or more modern golf games like Everybody's Golf and such like, your third button tap in this actually determines how high the ball is going to go. So that's what that green meter's for. The further to the top of that green meter it is, the higher the ball is going to go. And usually that corresponds to the ball going further as well. So let's have a go. Like I say, I'm absolutely terrible at this game because it moves surprisingly quickly. So, well, let's just see how we do, shall we? So, begin, and down, and hit! A little far to the right there. Although if we look at the map on the left, I am neatly on the fairway, so that's okay. 233 yards, not bad at all. Alright, it's 176 yards for the pin. So, I've remembered to bring the manual with me, so I can actually figure out what the best club for each situation is. So a 1 wood is probably not going to cut it for this. So the nearest one I've got, it says 175 yards for the number 3 iron of the black carbon arrangement. So if I switch to the 3 iron, there we go. And our stance had us going a little bit too far to the right last time, didn't it? So let's adjust that a tiny bit to the left. Let's see how that goes. So theoretically, with this club, if we hit 100% power, we should get pretty close to the pin. I'm going to aim a little bit left, just in case we end up drifting off to the right again. So, begin, and down, and too far left. Oh, not bad. It was almost the right distance, just a little bit in the wrong direction. It's 13 yards to the pin. Okay, so I guess we're going to need the old wedge for that. So sand wedge should take us 80 yards. I wonder if that's default, though. We'll just make it go straight. So we need a not very hard hit and quite a low hit, I guess. So up. Oh no, missed. That's okay. So if you do miss your shot on this, it's not a messed up shot. It's you just don't take the swing. So, but as you can see, you do have to be pretty quick off the mark. So let's try again. So up. Oh dear. Nice shot. By some standards, possibly a nice shot. It's a putt for a par. It's 12 yards to the pin, and that looks like a pretty flat green to me. Oh no. So that's downhill, I guess. Using the putter, obviously, because why wouldn't we? Oh, and you can't see the elevation while you're putting. You have to remember that. So it looked like it was sloping downhill a bit, so we need to aim a little bit to the left. Well, let's see what happens. Much too hard. What did you aim at? Shut up, caddy. I'm paying you the big bucks. Not hard enough. You hit that too soft. No shit. Much too hard. That's really difficult to judge. That was too hard. My caddy is super helpful. Right. Watch this. Well, it was better. It's a good putt for a quadruple bogey. The current scores for hole 1 are as follows. Mr. Kelly is currently in the lead, and Pete is 4 over par. Doing terribly. Alright. I'm not going to play through the whole tournament in this, because that'll take too long. He says, having recorded a nearly hour-long stun runner video last week. But, well... Shut up. Right, can we actually... Oh, you can scroll that way, that's good. Alright, so that's the fairway over there, I guess. So we probably want to aim sort of here, maybe? Yeah, that's pretty nice. 223 yards, not bad at all. Alright. So I think by default it just aims you straight at the pin, so you can pretty much, yeah, you can pretty much take a shot straight away. But I don't know if we got the right club. So 193 yards to the pin. Let's consult the book again. 193 yards. We're looking at probably either a 5-wooder or a 1-iron. I don't think I've got a 5-wood, so I'll take the 1-iron. Yeah. Alright. Let's try this. So, whoop, whoop. Oh, it's pretty nice. Ooh! Ooh! That was pretty nice. It's a putt for a birdie. I won't achieve that, so I wouldn't get too excited. Tap tap. Oh, it is a birdie. I've suddenly magically improved at this game. Alright, we're down to 3 over par, so we might actually get to move up a bit because we are just behind Brown. Mr. Brown. Right, 210 yards. So we probably don't want the 1-wood. 210 would be a 3-wood. Okay. So... Whack! Ah, a little bit short. Very short, in fact. 62 yards to the pin. That's going to be wedge territory. And... Whack! Land. Too far. Much too far. Yeah, so that green area is much bigger on the irons and the wedges, so you can give it a lot more loft, but that does also seem to make it go much further as well. So, 39 yards to the pin. So, not maximum power, not too high, I guess. Maybe not that low. Alright, let's try that again. Whoop, whoop. Oh dear. Maybe a little more power. Too hard, much too hard. It's quite hard to judge in this. Right. Maybe a little more power, much... Oh, it's way too low. 1 yard. We'll get there in the end. Watch this. Bit of that, bit of that. Wallop. Down. Oh, bit hard. I got this. There we go. Look at that. It's a good putt. It wasn't, because I'm now 8 over par. But, well, deal with it. Alright, let's do one more hole. So, par 5, you say. Alright. Bring it. Whack! Too low. Much too low. Terrible shot. And again. And whack! This is not going my way. And hit! Having some trouble here. That's a bit better. Right, 123 yards to the pin, so we want number 8 iron. Okay. Watch this. Oh, it's not bad. That's some dodgy ball physics, though. Oh! Oh! Nice. There appears to be a helicopter flying overhead, so I apologise for any rumbling you might be able to hear. It's the Sega Golf Police coming to take me away for my pitiful performance in this game. Maybe one more hole. One more hole. One more hole. I do like a golf game. I remember really enjoying this game back in the day. I can't remember exactly why, because sort of my enjoyment of golf games is something that's come about a bit more in more recent years. Sort of I come to enjoy stuff like, I think Tee Off on the Dreamcast was probably the first one. No, wait, Mario Golf on N64 was probably sort of the first real golf game that I really got into. Sort of prior to that, stuff like this, I didn't usually engage with all that much, but for some reason I found myself quite enjoying this one in particular. I think it was the fact that it had sort of cool digitized sounds in it, and digitized sounds were cool and exciting and that sort of thing back in the day. So I liked this one for that aspect, and for the fact that it had Sega on the box, because I was shallow and stupid apparently. But you know, I'm sure I wasn't the only one. Is that nice? No. No, it's not nice. I'm not cut out for tournament golf. I'm cut out for everybody's golf. Oh, will you shut up with your loud engines? God. I have to have the windows open at the minute because it's so boiling hot here at the minute, but yeah, it seems like every kind of noisy vehicle you can possibly think of is passing either by or overhead at the minute. Right. Hit. Not quite far enough. 38 yards to the pin. And for a wedge job. You have to pay extra for a wedge job. Sorry. So, bit of that. Bit of that. Bit of that. Bit of that. It's on the green at least. Nice shot, my ass. Don't patronise me. Yeah, the trouble with putting in this one is, unlike the games that I keep bringing up, there's sort of no indication of how far your maximum strength putt would go. So it's very difficult to judge how hard you need to hit it. But again, I guess it's something that you sort of get used to over time. You sort of play this game a bit and you get a feel for it, you practice it, you learn it, kind of like real golf, I guess, because you don't have that facility in real golf unless you spent lots of money on expensive gadgets and that sort of thing. Anyway, I'm 13 over par, so I think that's probably a good point to finish this this pitiful excuse for a tournament. So that was Tournament Golf by Elite for the Atari ST, based on a Sega game, Arnold Palmer Tournament Golf for the Mega Drive. Pretty good port, actually. Maybe not the best golf game I've ever played, with its slightly dodgy physics and so on, but not a bad effort for the era, and it's certainly got some nice aspects to it, like it's got those nice big sprites and the digitized sound and so on. So yeah, I do still quite like this, but these days I'd rather play one of the more sort of arcadey golf games that we've got on modern platforms, like on PlayStation. By the way, why haven't we had a new Mario Golf for a very long time? I think it's about time we had that, isn't it? But anyway, that's probably a story for another day, isn't it? As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please help out the channel by leaving a like or a comment and subscribing. New episodes of Atari A to Z are on Tuesdays and Atari ST A to Z on Thursdays. Check out atari-a-to-z.wordpress.com for a full archive. Do please also check out my other projects moegamer.net, where I explore Japanese and Japanese-inspired games from yesterday and today, and videopackgames.wordpress.com, which aims to catalogue a small but well-formed library of the Philips G7000 Videopack computer, also known as the Magnavox Odyssey 2. You can also support my work on Patreon or buy me a coffee. You can find links to do both down in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.